Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to be talking to you about how I use YouTube revenue to stack my silver, to build wealth one coin at a time. So I hope you are ready, because I believe that this is a really good opportunity to start off even small. Something is better than nothing. So welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, I'm Christine, and this channel really is about stacking silver, building wealth and backing up your wealth, preparing for preparing for financial freedom, and also in these uncertain times. So tonight live, I'm going to talk to you a bit about what's been happening personally to me, but it is also deeply practical as well, because what I want to talk to you about is exactly how I took my YouTube channel, which I've had since 2013, a long time ago, and I only just got it monetized, since October last year. I get appointments from my YouTube channel for my business, because I've been a business coach for over a decade. I've been in healthcare businesses for over 35 years, for example, and really what I'm looking at is my retirement fund, because we really don't know what that amount will be when the time comes. We're hearing today that there's going to be a shortfall for some that are, after 2030, for example, and it could be like 25% of your pension, for example. And I'm looking at my YouTube revenue, which is what I do, is my YouTube revenue when I get paid on the 21st of each month from YouTube. Although it's a small amount, I still purchase silver. Yeah, that's what I do. And even though it's only £3 a day, which is about $4.23 a day I get from my YouTube revenue, and I convert it into physical gold. If I'm looking at silver, then I have to build up, and I then buy a small amount, but usually I get like a ounce of silver, for example, a coin, for example, a couple of coins or 3 coins, for example, or I will buy some gold coin, whether it's 733 grams, a quarter of an ounce, for example. So today's video, I really want to share with you that this isn't about me bragging. It is really to inspire you, if you haven't started stacking silver or gold, that you don't need to be rich to start like what I'm doing, for example. You really need to start saving like what the wealthy people are doing today, for example. So you just need to plan, you really do, and be consistent with it. Just like I upload videos every day on YouTube, because I'm being consistent, because I'm looking at my long-term plan as well, and also to inspire other people that have just started stacking, for example. Now, I started looking at gold and silver in 2007, for example, and I was buying scrap gold and silver in 2007, hosting gold and scrap gold parties, or I would get people to host scrap gold parties, and then I would buy broken jewelry, for example, below the spot price. So I'd buy it for 30% less, and then I would turn them into gold and silver bars, for example. This was in 2007, and my husband was doing that with me at the time, and he was more really good at testing the gold and silver, etc. And what I want to share with you is how you can use your YouTube revenue. If some of you do YouTube and you're on YouTube, for example, so why not create your channel to make money for you, doing what you love to do, for example, and then you can purchase gold and silver each month when you get your revenue from YouTube, for example. So I'm going to go into this. I don't use my YouTube to buy clothes or fancy software or random Amazon purchases, for example, because YouTube pays me, but I choose to turn that into real money, like silver, for example. And here's the thing, right? Although it's £3, which is $4.23, for example, a day, for example, I turn that into about $90 a month, for example. So then I can purchase gold and silver physically, you know, the coins, for about $35, for example, for each one. So that's 2-3 ounces of silver every single month that I'm able to purchase, so that I'm looking at my longevity, I'm looking at my retirement plan, for example, because when it comes to gold and silver, it's something that you look at in the long term, because it is a long-term thing, for example. And for me, it is a retirement plan, for example. So let me continue here. So like I said, I buy 2-3 ounces every month. So does that, imagine what that means in a year, for example. That's 30 ounces of silver a year, for example. So imagine that over 10 years, that is a retirement hedge. This is my 10-year wealth plan, and I'm building it one coin at a time. And I don't know how you feel about that, if you're also building one coin at a time. I'd love to hear your comments in the chat, for example. So how can you start with what you have? I'm not saying that you need to be a YouTuber and a creator, for example, to do this, but think about it. Are you getting a side hustle income, for example, or maybe you're working and you can put $35 aside each month to buy a piece of silver, for example. You may be selling on Fiverr, you may be doing affiliate links, for example. Are you getting like $20 extra a week from anywhere, for example? So what if instead you were spending it on stacking gold and silver? So silver is still affordable. You don't need $1,000 to start, for example. Look, the banks are already buying up gold and silver. They're using it as a hedge because they can't rely on the currency. You know, this cash that we have, it's going to just be good for paper for wiping our noses with, for example. So what if you instead was to think about spending it to stack it instead? So really you need to have that discipline. You need a reason. And mine is a financial piece for when I get to retirement age, especially now that there's going to be a shortfall. So I'm looking at that buffer for my retirement, for example, because mine is never wanting to be caught in a crisis without something real in my hand. I like to have this in my hand, for example, physical silver. So one of the things that you need really is to, if you haven't done this already, is to have a mental shift. Okay? It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you've got.